I was very lucky to grow up next to Detroit. That city gave me DJing and electronic music experiences, and it's where I saw the first DJs perform. People like Jeff Mills, Derek May, Kevin Saunderson, Dee Win were using turntables, but they often had other machines around. Drum machines, effects machines, reel-to-reels and tape machines to play back early demos, like music that wasn't on record yet. And the way they performed was always a kind of progressive, deconstructive, additive way of performing and DJing. They were always very much pushing the mixer to its full maximum potential, using the EQ to take away the highs and the lows as they were bringing two records together, and really, just modifying, fucking up records. I'm Richie Hawtin, and we are here today to show you my DJ setup focused on Traktor and the other pieces of equipment that I use to control Traktor and give me all the capabilities that I want to have when I'm performing in front of a crowd. I've always been very interested in how far you can push DJing as a creative art form. A very unique way of performing, and my setup is very specific to what I'm trying to achieve, making people dance. Let me explain a little bit deeper exactly what is happening here. Of course, we have Traktor in front of me, and Traktor is the foundation and gives me 4 different decks. So there's always the music, the main music you're hearing is coming from Traktor. I use Traktor for some basic delay effects. I use Traktor for looping. But then all of that comes into the Model 1 analog mixer. Now, it doesn't have to be a Model 1 analog mixer. That's just my choice. It can be any other brand of mixer. You can also do things completely internally. So it's very important when you're learning to DJ that you really learn the pieces of equipment that you're using and find the ones that just feel good for you. Don't listen to anybody else. What works for you? With this mixer, I can do lots of things with the frequencies. And so all the sounds coming from Traktor come into each of these channels and give me a new way to sculpt and change the frequencies by subtracting and adding, using filters. That is, again, one of the most importance of having 4 decks on Traktor is to play music, multiple pieces, but using them in different ways. So it's always layering analog to digital translation, and that is another way that gives me new potential in the music I play. So in addition, I also have this great launchpad, which is running a special script with Bitwig, which allows me to add extra production over top, which is similar to Ableton, and that is running percussion and extra effects. I use a lot of these components and the way I can take these tracks from Traktor to build up my own new storytelling, even if it's with just one track and 3 other loops under each other, manipulating and pumping and playing off of each other. One of the things that Traktor does really well, which a lot of other hardware systems can't even touch at the moment is stem separation. And I'm just starting to get into that, and I have my K2s now operating on a second layer, which when I press this button here, I go into stem mode, and I can control the stems individually, which allows me to subtract some of the frequencies in a further way, again, allowing me to remix tracks on the fly and bring in the next track while other parts of the previous track are looping in a very special way. Let me try to give a quick overview of how everything is routed here, because I'm using an external sound card, because this mixer is analog and doesn't have its own sound card. If you have a digital mixer, you can plug Traktor and your computer straight in, but you'll still have different things happening on different channels. Moving to the right to the next channel, I have the first of my Traktor decks, deck A. Then over to deck B. Deck C, deck A, deck B, deck C, and deck D. Again, all this is configurable. I like having A, B, C, and D, but no matter if you're coming into an analog mixer through an external sound card or if you're going into a digital mixer, you can always put those in the order that you want. I like looking left to right and down. Those channels represent the bulk of what's happening and what you're hearing, but there's still a couple of other things going on. Over here, I have a delay unit, which is also running in Bitwig, so I'll put it on the claps right now. At the end, you heard a reverb, which is also coming from Bitwig. And then moving over to these last two channels here. This one's really interesting because it combines a flange effect and a reverb effect. So let's put that also. So again, you can see that not only are different sounds routing through the mixer in different ways, but I have different controls for all these parameters on both sides, from drum programming on the left side with the launch pad to changing some of the delay and reverb parameters right on the K2s here. We have one channel left, and yes, I have maxed out everything that's possible, but on this channel it's super interesting because we actually have a synthesizer where I can add new melodies. These 8 faders are actually a step sequencer. So you can bring these up and start creating a melody. These 8 sliders are the sequence, and as soon as you have anything down, it's a rest, it's a pause, so no sound plays. Bringing it up goes from a low pitch to a high pitch, and if you go all the way to the top, it actually makes that the loop point, so you can do 8, 7, 6, 3 weird loop lengths, which give a nice syncopation. The other secret that's happening in the background is when I tag a particular track and its loop point, Traktor sends a note message of what key that song is over to Bitwig in the background. And in Bitwig, I have a key mapping plugin, which then keeps things in tune and in time. Another important piece of my setup is actually having this remote screen in front of me. This screen in front of me allows me to see exactly what's going on and keep my connection on what's happening right here, and more importantly, what's happening out there. This screen is there to kind of respect that and allow me to do what I'm doing and remember that we're all in this together. My Traktor interface is relatively minimized. It gives me the pieces of information that I really need to see. when I'm playing, I'm using my comments as the main way to find the next track I'm playing. There's so much music coming in that I can't honestly say to you that I remember everything. So it's quite often I'm playing something with minimal techno, I'm looking at the comments here, and I'm loading something with my hotkey here, I'm playing it, and I'm listening to it in my headphones, and I'm scooting through it really quick. Okay, yeah, this is good. Then I'll go back to the beginning with my hotkey here, set a 4 loop, and loop it. And then I'm ready to bring that track in. I forgot one of the most important things, which is this little baby, which has been traveling with me for about 30 years. This is just a simple MIDI effects pedal. It actually isn't an effects itself, but it controls different parameters in the computer. It's another way to interface to the music you're playing with your foot, and it gives you like a third hand. Of course, the most important part of all this technology is to make people on the dance floor have an amazing night and to unlock my creativity. But there's another small program running in the background which is posting all the track information from the music I'm playing in real time to a Telegram channel. Why is that important? You know, I can only perform by playing other people's music. Now, and I think it's very important in this day and age to be transparent with what you're playing and support all the amazing artists and producers by letting people know exactly what you're playing. Not every track is actually perfectly in sync, so sometimes you have to play with the phase. And right here, I've got 2 buttons which actually allow me to push and pull the track's tempo and phase. The buttons at the top here control the different Traktor delay parameters. And down here, I can control the tempo as I'm playing during the night to bring the tempo up or down. And if I want to get really extreme with tempo, what I can do, this last fader has an extra parameter if I turn off the sync. It's not one of these tracks or one of these capabilities that make up my set. It's all these different possibilities and how a little delay, a little drum clap, a little tempo change, a bass loop over a high-end loop, how that all comes together and creates something which sounds unique and special. What you want to get to as a DJ and a performer is this idea of muscle memory and the flow. You want to lose yourself and forget where you are and what you're playing and just go by your gut and your intuition. It's great with all these tech and delays and flanges, but try to get as close to the specific sound that you like. You know, when you hear a song that you love, you want to hear it again, that's probably a song that you also want to play to people. Be true to yourself. That's the most, you're going to be standing in front of 100 people, 1,000 people, 10,000 people. It feels really great when you're in front of that many people and they're all dancing and having a great time and you're playing music that you love. That's infectious, and that's when the feedback loop starts to happen, because people can tell when you're into it and you can tell when the people are into it. And it's that feeling and that community that makes dance music and DJ culture absolutely untouchable.